Have you ever lost your temper with your child and then a moment later looked back and wondered, who was that angry person? If you have, you are in very good company. Most of us have been there, and having those moments certainly does not make you a bad parent. Raising kids is incredibly difficult. When you ask them to do something and they flat out refuse to listen, it is totally normal to feel completely helpless. This illustration shows what happens next. When we feel that deep sense of helplessness, an invisible, scared part of our brain panics and tries to forcefully grab back control of the situation. Psychologists call this putting on the fighter mask. It is a defense mechanism. We use anger or strictness to shield our own uncomfortable feelings. We reach for these masks when we feel vulnerable, hoping they will provide the safety and strength we need to get through a moment that feels out of control. There are 5 distinct types of fighter masks. Let's look at them with a sense of gentle curiosity. See if you recognize any of your own habits here, and remember to leave guilt behind. The first mask is known as the enforcer. When this parent feels afraid or out of control, they suddenly become a strict boss who demands that all the rules be followed immediately. If a child refuses to clean their room, the enforcer defaults to "my house, my rules" and hands down a harsh punishment that has nothing to do with the actual mess, like grounding them for 2 solid weeks. The second type is the exploder. As you can see in this animation, this mask is entirely unpredictable, going from totally calm to screaming in a single second. They go from 0 to 100 in a flash. Imagine the kids are being loud in the back of the car. Instead of asking for quiet, the exploder loses their temper entirely and yells that they are completely done with everyone. Both the enforcer and the exploder rely on overwhelming volume and absolute authority. They want to shock the child into stopping whatever behavior triggered them. The third mask is known as the litigator. This parent acts like a lawyer in a courtroom, relentlessly arguing with the child until they win the debate and get the very last word. If a child lies about eating a cookie before dinner, the litigator interrogates them. They demand strict yes or no answers and aggressively point out the inconsistencies in the child's story. The fourth type is the litigator's cousin, the critic. This mask obsessively focuses on tiny mistakes and negative details as a way to feel in control of the environment. When a child proudly makes their bed but leaves a few wrinkles in the blanket, the critic ignores the effort, zeroes in on the flaws, and calls the attempt a total disaster. The litigator and critic show us that fighting can happen without any yelling at all. They use logic and perfectionism to win the argument and prove they are the one in charge. The fifth and final mask is the passive-aggressive. This one is sneaky. Instead of a loud confrontation, this parent uses quiet anger, guilt trips, or the silent treatment to show their displeasure. If a teenager forgets to do their chores, the passive-aggressive parent sighs heavily, withdraws their affection, and tells the teen to handle things on their own without coming to them for help later. Whenever a parent wears a mask, the child inevitably reacts by putting on their own to protect themselves, kicking off a cycle of conflict. As the chain goes downward, the parent's reaction feeds right back into the fight, locking both in an escalating loop. The most helpful thing to remember is that these masks are simply signs of our own internal fears. They aren't about the child being bad. The key is to become an aware parent, someone who notices the moment a mask starts to slip on and chooses to take a deliberate pause instead of reacting. The ultimate goal is letting those tight defenses melt away, stepping back into a calm heart so you can simply be by your child's side. Take a moment to reflect on your own behavior today. Ask yourself honestly, which of the 5 masks, the enforcer, exploder, litigator, critic, or passive-aggressive, do you find yourself wearing the most? If you find this information useful, then like the video and subscribe to our community of parents who are learning to be more aware, and press the bell icon to turn the notifications on.